Okay, councillors, we'll declare the meeting open and we can stand for the affirmation. We recognise the traditional owners of the land were inspired by the early pioneers and by those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberations and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment. Be seated. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed on council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on council's website. Whilst all care has been taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. Okay, no apologies. Confirmation of the minutes of the meeting held on Monday the 5th of June.
Happy to move a motion that the minutes are accurate, Mr Mayor.
Seconder?
I'll second that, Mr Mayor.
All in favour? Those against? That's carried. Any matters arising for those minutes? No, no matters. No presentations or awards. Presentation of petitions or joint letters. Any disclosure of conflict of interest? No, none recorded. We've had a number of informal meetings. Would someone like to move and second those?
I'm just happy to move those motion.
Move Karen.
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Emerson. Okay, no comments. All in favour? Carried. Item 9.3.1, Infrastructure Program 2023-2024. Motion there.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Let me find the right page. I'd like to move the motion that Council adopts the projects as proposed in the Infrastructure Program 2023-2024.
Councillor Sarsfield, seconded.
I'll second that, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Haswell. Councillor Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Today's a day where I have to hold this up because there's a lot of words here. Interestingly, the infrastructure program is broken down into 12 separate individual programs that include bridge renewal programs, footpath programs, lots of programs. I like the drop structure and floodway renewal. There's a significant amount of monies that are applied to these programs to develop infrastructure within the Shire, and it's not only necessary but improves the access and day-to-day lives of our community. So I commend this to the council.
Mr Mayor.
Yes, Mr Mayor, if I may, just a point in regard to the infrastructure budget, that it'd be really handy if the state and federal government could see fit to give us a little bit more money to keep up with our infrastructure gap.
Yes, I think it'd be very much appreciated. Any other councillors? Councillor Starcevic.
I think we can all wholeheartedly say that that's a worthy cause, and certainly Northern Grampians Shire Council would be first in line to receive any largesse from both state and federal governments. Thank you.
I put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Motion's carried. Item 9.4.1, Adoption of the Budget 2023-2024.
I might say that it's time to go for a break because this is going to be a long one. The recommendation is that Council, having considered the draft budget for 2023-24 and having distributed the budget for the community consultation, resolves as follows. 1. To adopt the budget 2023-2024 comprising the 2023-24 financial year plus the subsequent 3 financial years, 23-24 to 26-27, pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2020. 2. To declare rates and charges for the 2023-24 financial year as follows. A. an amount of $19,766,000 be declared as the amount which Council intends to raise by general rates, municipal charges and annual service charges later described in this resolution, which amount is calculated as follows. 1. Residential rate, $9,193,000. 2. Commercial rate, $872,000. 3. Industrial rate, $457,000. 4. Farm rate, $5,672,000. 5. Cultural and recreational land, $14,000. 6. Municipal charge, $673,000. 7. Annual garbage charge, $1,710,000. 8. Annual recycling charge, $1,175,000. And 9. The total, which is the same as the first one, $19,766,000. B. A general residential rate of 0.4418 cents in the dollar of the capital improved value be declared for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024. A farm differential rate of 0.1531 cents in the dollar of the capital improved value be declared for the period 1 July 23 to 30 June 2024. D. A commercial differential rate of 0.5536 cents in the dollar of the capital improved value be declared for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024. E. An industrial differential rate of 0.5536 in the dollar of the capital improved value be declared for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024. F. In accordance with Section 4 of the cultural listed below to be determined by multiplying the capital improved value of these lands by 0.3654 cents in the dollar. G. Municipal charge. Council resolves to adopt a municipal charge for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024 at the rate of $82 per assessment. H. Service rate charge. Annual service rate charges be declared for the period 1 July 2023 to 30 June 2024 as follows. 1. Curbside garbage collection services, $277. 2. Additional curbside garbage collection services, $159. 3. Recycling, curbside recycling collection services, $190. I. Consequential, that the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to levy and recover the general rates and municipal charge and annual service charges described earlier in this resolution.
Well moved. Second.
I'll second that.
You wish to speak, Councillor? Speak.
Why not? I think I can put this down now because the resolution's done. I think the salient point in this whole exercise is the fact that we, after last year's effort, Council have been able to adopt a differential rating system that recognises a fair and equitable split, but also it also includes the reduction in the municipal charge to provide better value for the lower socio-economic community members. That's the most important part. The numbers are big. They're about $40 million in total, of which about half come from state and federal governments and the other half are levied by our rates to provide infrastructure and services through the community, for the community to be delivered through Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Stasevich, for reading that quite long motion. Not too much further to add to what Councillor Stasevich has already said, but I think it was last year that Council did adopt the revenue and rating plan, which incorporated the floating differential model to eliminate rate shock, in particularly for farming properties as well. So we approved the motion for a draft budget a few weeks ago in our council meeting and put it out to the community for response, and we didn't have any negative response at all. So I think it goes to show the rating and revenue plan through the floating differential model is actually working so far. So it's good to see the positive feedback from the community on this budget, and I think it would be good going forward. Hopefully it continues that way. So I second that motion. Thank you.
Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Hesnell.
I just wish to add that it is a very responsible budget. One thing that the budget and our financial statements does show in our cash flow statements is that our cash and cash equivalents at the end of the financial year last year were projected at 15.1 million. This year they're forecast to be 12.8 million, and forecast 2026 to 27, 5.1 million. Just shows there's a decrease in the coming years that our cash flow at hand at the end of the year is going to be, which just shows our reliance, and I'm sure as most regional shires are, on grant funding to be sustainable in the future years.
Any other councillors wish to speak? No? Councillor Starcevic, you wish to sum up?
I think it's prudent for us all to appreciate the work that was done by our financial team. Their patience with us as we went through the many different scenarios was invaluable to our decision-making process. So thank you to our staff. Thank you to Vaughan for leading that charge and making it simpler to go through. Thanks.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Motion's carried. Item 9.4.2, adoption of the revised council plan 2021-2025.
I'm happy to move that the council adopt the revised council plan 2021 to 2025.
Get a seconder?
Happy to second, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Dempsey.
Date standing. This was another one as well that we moved in draft a few weeks ago, and I think I spoke to it in a bit more detail then. And it went out for community consultation for the last few weeks, of which there was no feedback received as well. So I would take that as doing something right. So I think that is, same thing, credit to the staff and councillors that work on this plan as well. And these changes just come about through a number of different things and constant review of a moving document, which I think is important. So we'll keep reviewing it as we go along and pull out things that are the most important priorities.
Councillor Emerson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think it's interesting to note that there's around 50 action items in the plan, which have been added throughout the last 12 months and going into the next part of our plan. And with interest, very few of the action items from the previous plan have been withdrawn. So I think that's a very good effort by our council to be in that position where we can put extra action items into our plan without reducing some of the others.
Any other councillors wish to speak?
If I may, I think one of the other things that that this council plan speaks to is the housing issue, but also the migration support. We have a number of different nationalities in our community, which is fantastic. Stawell certainly has been the large beneficiary of the migrants coming through to work for large businesses in town. But we too, up the northern end of the Shire at St Arnaud, have a group of Filipinos that we need to reach out to and bring them further into the community. I think the value that they bring to the community, the diversification, is exceptional. So I commend the inclusion of that particular issue on the council plan. Thank you.
Any other councillors? No. Councillor Dempsey, you wish to sum up?
No, nothing further. I think everyone did a good job summing that up. Thanks.
Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Motion's carried. Okay, there's no notices of motion or rescission. Reports from councillors. Perhaps, who wants to start? Councillor Haswell, I'll start with you. Councillor Grady.
Yeah, Mr Mayor. Just a few of the meetings that have been on for the last month. We had meeting of the ratepayers in Great Western with the new basically committee there, and one of the biggest meetings I've been to in 2.5 years. We had a really good turnout for that. We've had a few of the Northern Grampians transmission line meetings. I attended the Manu transmission line meeting, which was quite informative from some of the other councils around the area, and about wind farms and such. Grampians Tourism Forum, we attended down at Sepples at Great Western. That was a really great informative meeting, and it's very good to go back down into the old cellars and have a good look around the old tunnels there. They're really excellent setup. Went to Destination Management Plan at Halls Gap. We had a good crowd at that. The Community Association at Halls Gap attended the AGM and chaired the AGM and the basically office bearers never changed from that, but that was the first one of those I'd attended, and it was quite a good roll up at that one. Had been to Go Bank meeting. With that we sort of haven't done so good out of that one, but most people know what's going on with that. Ratepayers meeting at Halls Gap. We had finally got president out there. Joy Robertson is the new president of the Ratepayers Association, which was really good to keep that, because they're a really good committee and they do a lot of good work in the community. We attended the MAV Management Freight and Heavy Vehicles and the Roundtable Conference the other day about the renewables in our area. So it's been a fairly busy month, so it all went pretty well. Thanks.
Very good. Councillor Emerson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just quickly from me, I've attended 24 meetings over the last month, which has been fairly hectic, and they're all important, but just a couple of ones that I think have given us pretty good results is the Store Gift Event Management Board has run the gift this year and achieved a small profit. We've had the opportunity to reappoint our executive officer for another 4 years. We had 1.72 million gifted to us by the state Labor government for the next 4 years. So things in regard to the store gift are progressing, in my opinion, very, very well. And all our relationships within the Store Gift Event Management Board are on the up day by day. So it's very pleasing in regard to that. Also, I'd just like to report on the VIN overhead power line stuff. We're doing a heap of work, thank you to Brent and his colleagues, in regard to trying to assist our community in regard to what seems like a very large task for them to accept, and also for the government to provide us the information we need. I think we're meeting fortnightly with various organisations, various members of the community, and a heck of a lot more meetings to come yet before we get some satisfaction for our community. Thank you.
Councillor Hizzle.
So at the start of the month, attended the North Central Land AGM. There was about 50 people in attendance. It was a great night. Had Angus Burley, who facilitated a panel of 3 young people who talked about why they have chosen agriculture as a career pathway. So it's a fantastic night. Angus did a great job. It was very, very interesting and very inspirational. Also attended the Halls Gap Destination Management Plan for the Grampians region and local area action plans. They're very important guides for ensuring our visitor economy can grow sustainably and profitably in the years ahead. It was well attended, great conversations, and it was a really, really productive meeting, I thought. Also went to the opening of the modernised store library. It looks fantastic, very spacious, and I'm sure they'd be very, very proud of it. Completed the Australian Institute Company Directors course. Now am attempting to complete the assignment. That's been a lot of work and still a lot of work going forward, but it's really, really been taught me a lot and really made me think a little bit outside my thinking processes and really challenged me, but I think Lauren and I are both really enjoying it. So volunteered at the Store Vic. Also on the Grampians Health Community Advisory Committee and Community Reference Group, and just wanting to highlight some of the positives from the Store Hospital. So Grampians Health removed out-of-pocket charges for patients being x-rayed. Urgent care is up 23% year on year. estimated saving to the community from the waiver of the urgent care fee is quite considerable. 33% increase in patients treated locally with a cancer diagnosis, 33% increase in patients treated locally with a medical condition, acute patient transfers from store to other hospitals is a reduction of transfers. Acute patients transferred to store from other hospitals increased over the previous year. There is an overall 11% increase in bed occupancy at store. And the effects of some of those points are that a direct result of our increased capacity to treat sicker patients at store because we have changed the medical model. And also, as people are aware, there's a planning for the second theatre is progressing, including construction is expected to be operational for 24-25 year. So I just thought I'd just share those positive highlights. Also attended a SCAN meeting, so the Cynana Community Action Network. So discussed a lot of different things. There's lots of people give community reports, and it's always a very, very interesting meeting. One of the real positives that came out of it was we had the Royal Flying Doctor Service come and talk to us. This is happening in Cynana. It is a free community transport service to help community members access health appointments and group programs. With help of volunteer drivers, this service will connect the local community to their health appointments. So people that have a pension, concession or DVA card or being 65 years or older can use this service. So very, very exciting for Cynana. It's still a work in progress, so still not up and running, but will be up and running in the near future. So also on Friday at Cynana there was an information session, and one of the highlights out of that was the food organics, green organics BOGO trial that is going to be coming to Cynana. So hopefully it'll be rolled out the end of July or August. It is a free trial for Cynana residents in the urban area over a year, so they'll get bins, they'll be able to put their green organics into the bin, and it's all going to be a trial. We're going to start, hopefully roll it out in Northern Grampians Shire somewhere down the track, but it's starting with Cynana. Cynana's a little bit smaller in population and just seeing how it evolves, but very, very exciting for Cynana. There's a lot of very, very happy people about it, so all really positive. So that's me.
Councillor Dempsey.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. A few things in the last few weeks. Attended the Store Neighbourhood House Committee of Management meeting. We had a meeting to update Martha Haylett, our member for Ripon, on issues mainly Cynana based, given she covers the north end of our shire. The Store Library community opening I attended, and then I went and spoke to the staff there who are saying that they're pretty happy with the feedback of community on the facility as well. So it's great to have that in our shire as well, those updated buildings, and it's being widely used. They have a meeting room that can be hired, and they have spaces where you can study and work on computers as well. So that's another positive for our town. I went to the men's shed install and spoke to them about some of the local issues, so it was good to have a chat with community members. Also attended the Central Grampians Len L2P 10-year celebration with Councillor Irwin, and reaching 10 years of that program is quite significant for a service to do. They've some of their stats are they've had 137 numbers of probationary licences gained by learners in the past 10 years. Over 13,000 hours of driving from volunteer mentors to students, and 318 learners have enrolled and passed in the program, which is good, and we've had over 70 volunteer mentors contribute to those 13,000 hours, plus all the training they do as well. So it's great to see that program, but I know they're always looking for more mentors as well get involved. So it's always good for anyone wanting to spend a bit of time on that. Also, last week in St Arnaud, there was a open sport and active transport strategy pop-up, and there'll be one next week in Stawell that I will be attending to have people complete a survey and chat with council staff on that strategy, where you can provide input, and it's one that's used by all because it's people that do yoga, walk in the street, more so than just the organised sports as well that use parks. So to have that, we've had close to 300 responses, I believe, already. So this is an incentive pop up in the main street in Stawell and at Cato to get some more people doing that, and they're also giving away some coffee vouchers and prizes to people that complete that survey. And I'll be attending for a couple of hours doing a coffee with the councillor for any community members that want to come and have a chat about other council issues too, and just hopefully, the weather holds out. But looking at the forecast this week, I don't think so. That's been me for the few weeks. Thank you.
Councillor Starcevic.
Happily, I can say ditto to a fair few of the things that have come before me, but the SCAN meeting that Karen mentioned earlier, we have a view expressed by one of the community members about, and I'll name Barry directly, Barry Robertson, raised the issue of a number of the elderly in town that are doing it hard, very hard, and he's asking what council can do to help with that, and that's something I'll have to pass through as an issue. The other thing is Barry is also concerned at the number of B-doubles that are going through Napier Street, which is the main business area. They shouldn't be, but they are. And I believe Trenton has taken account of the large vehicle movements there, and he'll be able to talk to Barry quite happily about the numbers going forward. So we may have a response for Barry there. What we're seeing through VNI West and certainly Teddington Reservoir is some parts of the state government's service providers adopting the view, do as I say, don't do as I do, where we, council, are largely governed by the fact that we have to go out and engage and consult with our community, and that's a good thing. It's just nice for other organisations within the government to do the same. It would be really pleasant to have communities like the Stuart Mill community not being engaged at all until well after a decision, several years after the decision's made, is really unacceptable. And it really contravenes everything that the state government has been putting forward. So certainly if anyone's listening to our YouTube TV station from the government, it would be really lovely for them to engage with community, consult with community, rather than making these trigger decisions several years before they come to the community. North Central Len, I'm really pleased that the AGM, that there's an emphasis on career development, career pathways. North Central Len have a very good program where there are 3 themes, and they're generally age-based. So you've got the infants, pre-teenagehood, and then you've got the teenagers up to 21. Certainly, I felt that area area needed development, and certainly North Central Len staff are going down that pathway quite well. So what Karen was talking about regarding the discussion panel was a really good example of the Len engaging people with the community, with the agricultural sector careers in mind. I can also say to you that the Historical Society at St Arnaud have recently installed a poppet head at the top of Lord Nelson Mine, so I commend you all to go up to another feature of the town, a bit of tourism going up to the old mine sites. That will be finished in the near future. That's been predominantly a work of love, so that's been going on for quite some time, about a year or thereabouts. And we had a comedy night quite an amusing night on Saturday where we had about 150 attendees. It was a cold, miserable night, so we had a good turnout. The comedy was good. It made everyone laugh. The three comedians we had, unfortunately, Lebo was missing in action because he was the recipient of COVID and late withdrawal. But his replacement was exceptional. Bev and Daniel were both particularly good as well. They really worked well with the crowd. So that was an example of the community getting together. We had some new members to the community quite surprised by the food that was prepared by the community and presented on table. He was quite shocked, and I kind of said, that's the way we roll up here. So he was really quite happy. He's only been in the community for 6 months, so he's now getting a sense of what's happening up this way. But it was important to note that it was a Neighbourhood House Victoria and Neighbourhood House St Arnaud pulled together, the Lions Club of St Arnaud and SCAN together to put this thing on, which was a terrific outcome. And Teddington Reservoir, we have the Upper House Greens member popping a visit to us tomorrow. We have Prue McAllister to thank because Hillary, her daughter, is an advisor to the member, to Sarah Mansfield, Dr. Sarah Mansfield, who's the member. So we'll have a smoking ceremony out there, and I don't mean cigarettes, I mean welcome to country, where we can actually see if we can put some additional pressure on gaining access to the ministers, three of, Shing, Stitt, be very careful, and Demopoulos, who's the Minister for Tourism and Sport, etc. This has been going on for 20 years, so there's no rush to get to the end line here. If we reset, restart, and go through the process, the outcome will most surely be different because of the number of people that will be involved in the decision, rather than a myopic view from Parks Victoria.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there has been a lot going on the last month. Quite a few have been mentioned. The library, Bendigo agency in store, which is unfortunate, but it will close this week, and store will be left with one bank, which is very disappointing for a town that size. Councillor Dempsey's mentioned the LTP. It was a good function. They do have 33 spots available now for learner drivers. They have an addition of 3 extras, so that is good, and I have a granddaughter doing that program. And obviously V&I West and Teddington are taking up considerable time, so it's a busy period. There is a report there from the Queen Mary Botanical Advisory Group, Gardens Advisory Group minutes, so could I get a motion to move those reports, move and second those reports?
Happy to move, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Emerson, seconded.
I'm happy to second it. Oh.
Councillor Herzog. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? That's carried. There's no urgent business item. We do have one public question in public question time, and it's from. You wish to read your question out, or we may not be able to answer. I might have to refer it today, but I'll let you read your question out.
Thank you.
Mr. Baisley.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me speak today. Richard Baisley, I'm the President of the St Arnaud Friends of the Library. Some of you don't know me. The Friends of the Library have been around for about nearly 20 years, supporting the library service in St Arnaud, and mostly involved with fundraising and purchase of books, artworks, furnishing and support of the librarians themselves, and digitising of the North Central newspaper, which has been an ongoing effort. I'd just like to thank the Shire for the work that's been done for the libraries over recent years. The changes that have taken place and that seem to be all falling into place, and work that's being done over in Stawell. It'd be great to see that. And the transition from the Wimmera Regional Library Service seems to have been going well too. Recently, the Shire carried out a review of the library service and applied for a public consultation on it. I'll just read my question out then. This year, friends, members and patrons of the Northern Grampians Shire Library Service participated in a community service survey run by consultants hired by the Northern Grampians Shire. This survey included written responses and interviews. Has a report on the results of this survey been received by the Council? And when will the Council provide the library community with the contents of this report? That's one question, one sort of question I'll put together too.
Yes,
actually.
we might have to take that one on. I'm sure there is a report around somewhere, but we might have to take that one on notice, and you'll get a written response on that one.
Yeah, we're looking for feedback, and I think the community would like some feedback on it too, whether it's the actual report itself or some sort of publication as to what feedback the council received. Community members, I think you got pretty good response from it, so it'd be nice to get something back. And by the way, the people who carried out the review were really approachable people and nice, good to talk to as well. Very experienced people by the sound of it. So that seemed to have gone well. And I believe there's, from what there's been a certain amount of clearing out and culling of books, so there's been updating of that. That's part of the service. And I believe there's an increase in hours too for the library staff, which will be much appreciated, because I know the amount of work that they have to put in there, the amount of hours that they do put in for the service. The other is related to the library, is the recent decision to site the new pre-prep building in the Market Square car park, and the associated loss of close parking will affect many library users, particularly the elderly. Whilst making plans for the new replacement car park, have the council planners considered allocating parking spaces specifically for library users? So
we might take that one on. We might take that one on notice too. But they're very valid questions.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your comments too. It's not very often we get a huge amount of comments like that, so thank you very much for your comments. We take great pride in our libraries and the service they provide to the community. See them as a very important part of our community. So, and thank you for your volunteering work too at the library. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, well, we're only a small group. As I said, we've been operating for a number of years. In fact, a lot of the art shows that we held for fundraising, we held 11 art shows here over the years, were held in this building with the support of the council during that time. So we have, I think, worked pretty well together. So
no worries. Thanks very much for your questions. You'll get a written response. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, there being no further business, we'll declare the meeting closed.